Okay, so we're at Let's Golf today. We're doing some testing. I'm very privileged to have Matthew James.
Thank you.
One of the Callaway staff, does product training, club fitting for Callaway.
Yeah.
So the club that we're looking at today, the X-Forged Utility
X-Forged
Iron.
Utility Iron, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So we're comparing it against the X-Forged. So we've got a 4-iron regular X-Forged iron.
Yep.
And we're going to compare it against 4-iron UT.
Yep.
Same shafts.
Same shafts.
So we're pretty much going to see, the real difference between these two.
Yeah, I think, the sort of message around this kind of iron is, essentially it's a long iron replacement kind of club.
Okay.
So how does this club compare to what it would be replacing essentially? And that's the test that we tried to do for us.
Okay, so in this intro then, tell us the differences, and I'm going to show the club up to the camera as well. Tell us about the main difference, the technology, the difference between the UT and the X-Forged iron.
So the main difference is straight away, as we've seen in hitting, is the visibility.
Yep.
You've got a bit of a thicker top line on the UT as opposed to a very thin, slender profile of the X-Forged iron.
Yep.
Slightly thicker sole as well with that. Again, just the idea around this golf club is just to give players a little bit more help in that long iron category, where we're going to look at a little bit more forgiveness. So to get those kinds of things, it's around its shaping and its design. But the main difference between the two is that where the X-Forged iron doesn't have the cupped face, which Callaway is renowned for, the utility iron does. So what we're hoping to see from that is a reduction of ball speed loss on any slight miss hits.
Okay, so I'm sort of looking at it here as I'm sort of twisting the two heads together. Can see, how different the sole design, and that sort of hollow back head.
Yep.
And obviously from the initial sort of hitting that we've done, just looking at the club, how different this is performing, really.
Absolutely,
the main difference is. So, who is this pitched at, this product, primarily?
So it's still, the same sort of players that would want the X-Forged iron, or maybe even the Apex MB iron, so the better player.
Okay.
But again, for those more maybe traditionalists that want to have the longer irons in the bag, but maybe just need a little bit more help, and we can offer them that.
Okay, should we hit some?
Let's.
Right, so we swished the club a few times.
We've had a couple of goes, yep.
Just for the record, we removed the worst shot.
Yep.
So just without distorting it, we're your average club pro, so we're human. There's error in there. So what we didn't want to do is, by having a short shot, just distorting the figures too much. We removed that one to make it a fair test, and that's the same with all of our tests.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. We always do the same.
So now we've got our averages and the comparison. So Matt, as the fitter, as the expert in this, talk through this data. Let's let the viewer understand this a little bit more and how this is going to benefit this club, or the differences.
I think the first thing really that we need to sort of highlight is the fact that you're quite a comfortable long iron player anyway.
Yep.
So, we said while we were hitting the shots, so you're actually fairly confident using a 4-iron, and be that a utility design or a normal 4-iron, you're actually quite comfortable either way.
Yep.
I'm slightly different to that. I've actually sampled using hybrids in the past and moving away from 4-iron because it's a club that I'm not massively comfortable with, particularly with not playing so much these days.
Yep.
So as we've always said in any of our videos, and we always focus on in fittings in general, we look at these pillars. These pillars being the ball speed, the launch and the spin. And as we know, if we can affect any of those in any way, shape or form, we're going to have an effect down range.
Yep.
Now, for both of us, again, a 4-iron is a club that would be looking to get in that sort of 200-yard mark. So seeing that actually with a standard 4-iron with the white there for me, 128 ball speed, a 15 launch we could say, at 4-4 spin. I can't quite get it to that carry distance down there at 192. I think my absolute strongest shot in that was about a 196, which is something that we mentioned. So you can see there, for me to want to play that kind of iron, the obvious choice is going to something like a UT. So I can get the ball launching a little faster because of the cup face. They're the same loft, these irons as well, which is important to remember. So I'm launching it higher, I'm launching it faster. The spin rates are virtually identical, I would say. It's a non-negotiable difference really, but the difference downrange is an extra 4 yards.
Yeah, okay. So longer, higher, without too much spin, so not too much saw effect. Longer carry. However, descending down from a sort of a higher angle, steeper, so likely to stop a little bit quicker. So your bounce and roll sort of coming in on a lower descending angle compared to the UT. So for you as somebody with lacking a little confidence, looking at that kind of very thin top line, that kind of machete blade down there, with your traditional 4-iron, the UT, immediately when you picked it up, you said straight away, I feel like I can hit this, and your first shot you absolutely nailed.
Almost went in, didn't it?
Compared to your first shots with the 4-iron, it was like, and he was trying to fiddle it to get it back, make it back. So, whereas on the other hand, come back to me,
it's not, you know,
my story a little bit.
Look through those, and there are differences. I'd say that they're not as big as my differences, but you know, certainly there are differences. The main sort of highlight one to me actually of those is your degree up in launch. So the hollow body construction there and the strategic placement of the CG that the guys can then do because of that design allows us just to get the ball launching a little bit higher when compared to a normal 4-iron.
So then we saw them with the increased launch by sort of 1.1 degree, call it 1. And then without losing control of the spin, so the saw ability, the ball climbed at the correct rate that it should.
You know, and your difference downrange is a gaining carry, but no difference to the playability or the characteristics of how that shot gets there. You know, you're 11 yards away from carry to finish, as you are there with the UT.
So as I was hitting it and I was sort of giving you my feedback as the fitter and you sort of taking that on board, I mentioned to you that obviously with the confidence of where we opened up with my confidence with long irons, looking down at the machete blade for me makes, whether it helps me control the swing, I don't know. You never know really delving into the human mind. But my side angle deviation,
it's greater with the UT, it's bigger.
So I hit it further, I get better launch characteristics, but I spray a little bit more, you know? So it's always a good one when we do these testing.
Absolutely,
So we can see this. So something also I'll put on the screen as well so you can talk about, we're going to talk about the peak height of the golf ball as well, because that's sort of more emphasis on the technology of the CG location, the strategically placed weight and the head and the cup face.
And I think, you know, the key point there is you're able to really get the ball fizzing out quite low. With that in mind, obviously you don't really have the struggle in launching the ball quite high. Again, as I said, you know, I'm not the world's most confident long iron player anyway, and I would always feel like I can get that low shot because it's already there in the loft. You know, I'm not gonna struggle hitting it low if I want to go play that linksy style golf course. On the flip, give me a 4-iron and try and hit it nice and high. I feel like I'm going to struggle. So one of the sort of real key highlights that we looked at, for myself included, was actually its peak height. You know, my highest shot with the 4-iron, which is on the top section there, was 32 yards up in the air. My lowest with the UT was 32. So, you know, and that lowest one's actually a little bit of a mishit. We can see that ball speed went down a touch, but the launch went down a little bit. I didn't lose anything downrange, and again, you know, the key there was actually my longest carry out of the normal iron was 194. My average carry was 196. You know, my 4-iron in the apex at the moment is slightly stronger in loft than that, which is again something to note. But it's certainly showing that, you know, using a UT iron or that kind of golf club for me as a golfer certainly is so much more playable, so much more friendly, so much more usable and confidence inspiring than say a 4-iron,
Yeah.
particularly of that design.
So we look at my peak height then. So my iron, the regular
So
X-forged
standard
iron,
forged,
28, and then with the UT,
Getting up at 30.
30. So increase to the lowest was 28.
Yeah.
The lowest was 27.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a hit it up in the air machine, end of story,
Yeah.
controlling the amount of spin,
That's it.
giving you the extra ball speed for that increased
Distance,
carry
yeah.
distance.
Yeah.
Really good. So, you know, we talk about this a little bit, and obviously with your knowledge, which is far superior than mine, although I do club fitting, and we put emphasis on this, and I've had now some really good dialogue with
Yeah.
people on the channel that have come to me and asked me for some feedback on particular clubs.
Yep.
Obviously, this is our feels and our data. Is that it's important to go to a club fitter, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you know, some of the guys that might be going out there and purchasing golf clubs without maybe having a fitting might just buy a 4-iron because on the shelf it's sold as 4 to pitching wedge.
Yes.
You know, and we would always say that, you know, the importance of a custom fitting is not necessarily the specs of the club, i.e. its length, its lie, its grip size, those kinds of things. But it's actually the golf clubs that go in the bag as well.
Yes.
You know, are you going to have a 4 hybrid? Are you going to have a 4 UT?
Yeah, the set
are you going to
makeup.
have the 4-iron?
Yep.
Looking at that set makeup, making sure that you are hitting the distances that you should be hitting per club.
Yeah. So that kind of fitting interview, you know, as I remember from my PGA exam, and probably
Yeah.
you the same, is
Yeah.
that, you know, you should ask those, the fitter should be asking those questions.
Absolutely.
What club at your golf course, you
Yeah.
know, what clubs are you using into par threes?
Yeah.
Have you long par threes? Have you short par threes? How's your confidence with your long irons?
Yeah.
Do you hit them with confidence or without?
Yeah.
Therefore, pushing them towards testing something like a UT
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
an
yeah.
equivalent to help them get the ball up in the air and
Yeah.
give them that little extra distance
That's it.
down range.
You know, and obviously, you know, the likes of you and me are obviously very, very lucky in our positions that maybe we can think about different clubs for different places.
Yep.
You know, and I've experimented with myself with that for the last year, where if I'm going and playing a downland style course, which is where I play most of my golf, the 4 hybrid might come with me, particularly if it's wet underfoot, because it's going to be all about carry. So if I can do that with a hybrid over a 4-iron, I'm always going to choose the hybrid.
Okay, so club fitting, again, staying on the same theme. We do club fittings, you come along
Yep.
and do selected nights with
That's
me
it,
here,
yeah.
and we team up
Yep.
to do a sort of a joint fitting with clients here. So anyone that's in the local area, in the local counties,
Yeah, come
you
along.
know, can come along, get in contact with me through the channel. If you're not anywhere near Surrey, Sussex, go online, find
Yeah.
a club fitter, Callaway club fitter.
Yeah, we've got them, or you know, your local club. You know, if they're a Callaway account, then no doubt they'll have an event lined up for the year.
Yep.
We're just at this stage, obviously starting to plan those for the year coming now. So
Okay. And also you've got Chesington as well, which your accounts can send clients to
Correct,
your
yeah.
headquarters, your UK headquarters, and do fittings with your
Absolutely.
staff over at Chesington
Yeah.
as well. And you've got everything at Chesington.
yeah,
Okay, perfect. So really good then to see,
Yeah, it's good to
enlightening
see,
for
yeah.
both of us.
yeah,
And you know, for the viewer here, then try it. If you don't have confidence with your long irons, try the UTs. Make sure that you are recording the data and you can measure it, quantify it correctly.
absolutely.
And if you're going to get the downrange, you're going to get the extra distance. Just make sure you're not losing it.
Not losing any control for it either. right?
Dispersion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So thanks a lot, Matt.
No
Enjoyed
worries.
that one.
Likewise.
Hope you enjoyed that video.
Cheers.